Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Did you know that Brighton have now reached out to Leeds United for a potential deal involving Crysencio Summerville? Stay tuned to find out more. Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it's a nice little break from all the Euro content I've been putting out. It's been quite quiet on the Leeds United front for transfers. As we know, the window opened last week, but it was expected to be quiet. The Euro's happening, it's been a weekend of football, and not much business gets done on a weekend, if we're being totally honest. It's like the banks and stuff. When you get paid, you're getting it on the Monday. It is what it is. And, of course, at lunchtime, we heard from the GOAT when it comes to transfer news Fabrizio Romano that Crysencio Summerville may be on his way to Brighton. We know that there are a host of football clubs looking at Crysencio Summerville. Of course, Liverpool being one, Newcastle another, Chelsea as well, but Brighton have made the first move. Now, as a fan looking at Crysencio Summerville and what would be the best move for him, we've discussed this before. I did a video where I said between Chelsea and Liverpool, what would be the best move? I'm under no illusion whatsoever that if I'm Crysencio Summerville's people, i.e. those close to him, not his agent who's wanting, the biggest bag and all that sort of stuff. If I'm a friend of him, I'm saying go Brighton. Go Brighton, establish yourself as a Premier League player. If you can replicate what you were doing at Leeds, which, as we know, was phenomenal, Championship Player of the Season, his G&A was absolutely insane. If you replicate that at Brighton, you then get another move, okay? And we know Brighton now, they are an established Premier League club. I think it'd be a great move for him under the new manager as well that's just coming in. So I think this would be a fantastic move for him. And he will play, and he'll play regularly. At Liverpool, he's going to have Diaz and Gakpo ahead of him. At Chelsea, and Nkunku can play out there. Will Sterling still be there? I still fancy him to get minutes in them teams, by the way. I'm not discrediting that whatsoever. But at Brighton, he's guaranteed more game time. From a Leeds United perspective as well, it's music to my ears, that Brighton have come in and other clubs are sniffing around him, because we have a number of high-ticket items that we could potentially sell. Of course, we know there's going to be FFP, PSR regulations that we're going to have to adhere to. Now, the Red Bull deal, the 60 million that we got, happy days. If we were to then sell Summerville at 30 to 35 million, and I think it'll be a minimum 30 million. Let's not forget as well, Brighton did pay 30 million for João Pedro from Watford. So I'll be expecting something similar, because Pedro had nowhere near close to an impact in the Championship as to what Summerville did. And the facts are with Summerville, he also has Premier League game time under his belt. He scored against Bournemouth, he scored against Liverpool. Remember when we beat Liverpool? No one had beaten Liverpool and Virgil van Dijk at Anfield. Up stepped Summerville and did just that. So he's got Premier League experience in his locker as well. He's a fantastic player. We all know that. Cutting in from the left, that strike that he has. We watch it every week and we all know what he's going to do, but no one can tend to stop him. Great ball carrying abilities. He'd fit in at Brighton like a hand does in a glove, But from a Leeds United perspective, if they are coming in, what's really intriguing, for me anyway, I really like our current ownership group. They seem to be shrewd operators. We've seen how they dealt with Nonto's situation back in the summer when Everton came a knocking and we said, you'll train with the kids. It is what it is. Similarly, when Sinistera went to Bournemouth, we said, you can go there, but we're taking a player. Previously that over ownership, we don't know. Some of them that have probably been sold last summer for about 10 million, So I'm interested to see how they do, because Brighton are very good in the transfer market. They have a good transfer policy. They like to buy players young, cheap, and then move them on for bigger amounts. You can see why they've come after Summerville. But what I will say is they also make sure they get top money when they sell these players. We look at Caicedo, we look at, Cucurella, for example. So they're very good in the transfer market, both buying and selling. So it'll be interesting to see how the 49ers do against that, against Tony Blue and the crew there at Brighton. So I'm interested to see how we do. I want us to ensure that we get the highest bag possible, which I think they will. For sure I do. And what that also means for Leeds United is, look, a lot of people still now on lives and stuff think he could stay. We don't need to sell him. Why should we sell him? Leeds have to sell him. Leeds have to sell him. He's a sacrificial lamb, if you like. But by sacrificing Summerville, who you paid just 1.5 million for, and you're going to get minimum 30 for me, I think we could get towards 35 million. The profit there for PSI is insane. And what it also means is, if a Tottenham, a Liverpool, or other clubs come knocking for Gray, you can say nada. We don't need that now, because we've just got 60 million from Red Bull with their shirt sponsorship, and we've just pulled in 30 to 35 million for Summerville. So it means you can pick and choose now whether you do or don't need to sell. So say, for example, Nonto, in my opinion, the interest on him has waned. He didn't have a fantastic season. No one in Italy is paying for him. In order for us to get the money we want for Nonto, it has to go in England. If no one comes for him in England, then, or if even clubs put in a bid, we can be a bit more selective and say, well, no, you're not getting him for that price. He's going to have to stay for another year. He's under contract. There's a big sell-on clause with Zurich, which could impact any, sales, etc. So we can be a bit more selective now with how we operate when it comes to these players. So, it's not great that we have to sell our better players. Of course, I'd rather keep Summerville because we're a stronger side with him in it. But the fact that we can get as much money as we will for him and the profit from it. I know we all have to be accountants and all like that these sort of days, but it is what it is. It's a fact of life. That's what football's like. Yeah, you have to know what's going on, money and all that sort of stuff. It's almost the perfect sacrificial lamb. I would rather sacrifice Summerville than Gray. The great thing is as well we have on our side is that Summerville's not pushing through for a move. That might change if clubs come and Leeds, and Brighton try low ballers and we say, nah, no chance. And then he might, transfer request. I don't think he will, because he's a very smart cookie. He backs himself. He knows if he just remains cool, calm, collected, it'll get worked out. And it'll probably help negotiations if he does that. I think some Leeds fans see that as him not pushing a move, as him wanting to stay. That's not what this is. You can't expect to keep Summerville another season in the Championship. Those might disagree with me, but I think you're in sort of like cloud cuckoo land if you believe that fact. So Summerville will go. It's a matter of when, not if for me. But I'm really excited that Brighton have come to the table. It started early. Let's get this sorted. Let's see if we can get it sorted before the end of June. Do you know what I mean? And then we've also have a better picture financially. The club will be well aware. They've come out and said, look, we're in a good, strong financial position when Graham Smith's asked them a question. Good PR. They're going to say that, but there is credence to what they're saying because of the Red Bull investment. That we may only need to sell Summerville now, which then makes us stronger. You could argue Summerville leaving Aronson coming in. I'm not saying they're on a similar level, but if we look at how Farker will want to play, if we think about his preferred style, he prefers to play with more 10s and maybe one wide man. That could be James out on the right. He's got Aronson, Rutter, and now you've got money in the coffers, to go get your right back. Could you get Gilchrist on loan? That again saves money. Rodon, it might look a little bit pie in the sky now with other clubs interested in him, and I get it. It's Premier League interest. That's a decision for Rodon on what he wants to do, because I think Leeds United will go up next season. And what I'm also interested to see now as well is what Liverpool and Chelsea do, because Fabrizio Romano did say they still hold an interest. Whether or not they want to get involved in a bidding war, I hope they do, because that drives up the price. But they might look at it and say, do you know what? Does he move to Brighton? And then let's reassess it. And like I said, if I'm Summerville's people, I'm telling him to go to Brighton. I think it's a perfect move for him. What that also might mean is then that, Brighton might look to sell someone else who's in their lineup currently that they can sell for bigger cash, and they've replaced him with Summerville, etc. But yeah, look, Summerville's the hottest prospect in the Championship. Brighton want him, Liverpool want him, Chelsea want him, Newcastle have been moved with an interest. He will leave the football club. I'm on board with that. I was on board with it as soon as we didn't go up through the playoff final. And I'm excited to see how it unfolds. It's almost like I'm excited to see him leave. Of course, I would want him to stay, but ultimately I realise Leeds United will have to sacrifice certain personnel, and Summerville is going to be one of them. We've got many high-ticket items. He's the highest ticket of them all, and the fact that clubs are already starting to come after, 3 days, that's good news for Leeds United, which means we'll be in a better position financially and we can go get what we need and keep on to the players we want, one of them being Archie Gray. So yeah, exciting times ahead. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Brighton's a good move for him? Should he wait for a Liverpool, a Chelsea or a Newcastle to come and knock in? How much do you think is a good price? Are Leeds right to sell him, or should we make him stay because he is under contract? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel, of course. If you're watching this now, it's highly likely I'll be live watching Belgium. So join me for that. Join me for the Euro content as well. But yeah, thanks as always for watching the Just Joe Football Show. And I'll see you in a bit. Peace out. Leeds is Leeds.